Picture a cave woman. Go ahead. Actually picture her. Odds are she's crouched by a fire with a baby on her hip, plucking berries off a bush while the men are off somewhere doing the real work. That image feels like memory. It isn't. It's an image we inherited, and one version of it has a date on it. 1966, the University of Chicago, a conference called Man the Hunter. The scholars there argued that chasing big game is what made us human, smart, coordinated, capable. And because they assumed only men hunted, the conclusion wrote itself. Men drove evolution forward, women watched from camp. It filled textbooks and museum dioramas for decades. So here's the question worth holding on to. If that's true, why does the ground keep giving up women buried with hunting weapons? Start with the thing the symposium buried in its own footnotes. One of its own organizers, Richard Lee, presented data showing that in living foraging societies, gathered plants made up 60 to 80% of the diet. 60 to 80. Gathering wasn't support work, it was most of the meal, and it was anything but simple. A gatherer carried an encyclopedia in her head. Which root is food and which one stops a heart? Which tree fruits this week, where the water hides in a dry season? Get a single mushroom wrong and you don't just lose dinner, you lose the person who ate it. That knowledge fed more people more reliably than the sharpest spear in the band ever could. Now walk the hunt for a second. You're moving with the group across open country after an animal that is much faster than you. It bolts. You don't sprint, you'd lose a sprint. You walk. An hour later you find it again, it bolts again, and again you simply keep coming. The sun climbs. It hasn't found water. You have. By late afternoon its legs are failing and yours are not because your body was built for exactly this. Endurance, not explosive power. This is persistence hunting, and nothing about it requires a man. It requires stamina and a group that moves as one. Women can have both. For a long time, none of that mattered, because whenever we unearthed a hunter, we labeled it male by default. Then, at a site called Wilamaya Patjxa in the Peruvian Andes, archaeologist Randall Haas uncovered a burial from around 9,000 years ago. A young person laid to rest with a full big game kit. Projectile points, scrapers, hide-working tools. Everyone assumed a man. The bones disagreed. Protein analysis from tooth enamel identified the person as female, 17 to 19 years old, a teenage girl buried as a hunter with honors. And here's the part that should stop you. Haas didn't wave it off as one strange grave. He went back through other early burials across the Americas and recounted them, this time without assuming a hunter must be male. Read only the evidence, and his analysis estimates that as many as 30 to 50% of those early big-game hunters may have been female. Not a rare exception. As many as a third to half. The lie was never in the bones. It was in us, in a century of scientists who saw a weapon beside a skeleton and wrote "man" before the data ever got a vote. And the old picture has one more crack in it. It imagines every mother alone at her own fire, pinned in place by a child while the rest of the world moved. That's not how humans raise children. Anthropologist Sarah Blaffer-Hrdy argues that one of our species' oldest advantages is shared childcare, alloparenting. Fathers, grandmothers, siblings, aunts, even unrelated members of the band all helped keep a child alive. In a small foraging group, a baby wasn't one woman's private burden. It was the group's project. And that changes everything about what a mother could do, because if others are watching the child, she can gather, travel, teach, and hunt, and the child still survives. It takes a village isn't a slogan here. It was the survival system. So if we started out this even, how did we end up here? Most researchers point to the agricultural revolution, about 10,000 years ago. There's honest debate about the mechanism. The plow rewarding upper body strength, property demanding known heirs, denser settlements breeding warfare, and it was likely some tangled combination rather than any single cause. But in many places, the direction seems clear enough. Once we stopped moving and started owning, roles began to harden, and divisions that had long been flexible could become more permanent. It wasn't ancient. It was new, which means for most of the time humans have existed, we hunted together, gathered together, and raised the children together. Formal male authority is the thin slice at the very end of the story, not its foundation. So that picture in your head, the berries, the baby, The men off doing the real work was never your ancestors. It was someone's assumption, handed to you as history. Look further back than the last few thousand years, and the whole shape of who we are quietly changes.